Hi, how's it going? It's been a little while since I've talked about my diet, but I've been learning about. Oh, actually, I'm in my previous video how I talked about how I'm eating a predominantly meat and meat and eggs and dairy based diet, as opposed to sorry, I'm trying not to laugh, but as opposed to previously a vegan diet. Even though veganism is not a diet, it's an ethical stance. That's what it's defined as, apparently. But I guess in my situation, I have a weakness for sometimes feeling empathy for the animals um, at the expense of rationality. Sorry, vegans, but or sorry, people considering being vegan, but yeah, and then that sometimes gets overridden again when I realize actually for nutrition, it's probably pretty silly to do that, you know. But so the thing is, right? Um, I'm just gonna give you let's maybe I could give you my whole philosophy on the thing, or maybe whatever I think is some proof to that, or I can just tell you my experience so far. Yeah, maybe I'll just say my experience so far. Okay, and then we can talk a bit about philosophy and all that stuff in another video. So um, I've been learning from Bart Kay. He has you probably know about Bart Kay if you're a vegan or if you're a carnivore type person. If you're vegan, you know him. It's because he likes to critique and go nuts at any vegan videos claiming that a vegan diet is an appropriate source of nutrition to to sustain a human being. But and he does it in quite a an abrasive manner usually. But he claims that that's just a it's just a act so that it gains views. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just saw my hands moving just then. He has a habit of saying to the people he's critiquing when he's watching their videos, he says, "Sit on your hands, you pathetic or you annoying." Yeah, I won't say the next word, but annoying cunt. And he's like, it is very annoying seeing you move your hands around. It does not add to your message. But yeah, let's get to all right. If you're still with me, yeah. Hey, how you doing? What type of diet do you eat? Or if you're a vegan, how's that going for you? And if you're on like a low carb sort of carnivore-ish type diet or carnivore, how's that going for you too? It'd be a nice little forum to see, the comparison of people's comments and yeah. Um, so with me, one of the main reasons I wanted to initially start changing my diet more recently, I was just eating like a mixed diet of animal products and carbohydrates, just but actually it wasn't. It was sort of a health conscious one, like not eating vegetable oils and things like that, going for healthy oils, so like maybe extra virgin olive oil or whatever, and yeah, I thought that that was enough. That actually being low carb or high carb, low fat was actually like unnecessary. Like, what's the point? Because the main issue is the vegetable oil. That was sort of my what I thought. Maybe ignorantly, that's what I thought. And I tried it out. I was trying it out for myself, right? And I noticed that actually I'm gaining weight to be the heaviest that I've ever been. So maybe a happy weight for me, I guess you could say like a high school weight around like if I'm 18 or 20 or something like that. A happy weight for me is around early 80s, early 80s kilograms, so 82, 83 or something like that. And then I was getting up to 95 kilos and I thought, oh, I started to wonder, when is this going to stop? When I weighed myself on my friend Mitch's scales, and I was like, why do I weigh 95? This is not this is not supposed to happen. I'm eating healthy oils. You know what I mean? And then like what happened next? Um, well, I decided to try on some clothes that I hadn't worn in a while. I think I may have mentioned this in another video. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I as opposed to wearing the jeans I'm wearing right now, I'll stand up for you. So I'm wearing these jeans. They're like like stretch jeans. So um, it's a bit deceiving, and it kind of happens over time. Like you don't really realize yourself getting bigger when you are. You're like, oh, am I getting bigger? Because it's stretching. The pants stretch. These modern jeans, But the chinos that don't stretch, I hadn't worn them in a while. And then when I put them on, I thought, oh shit, like it's I can't even button it up. I thought, okay, something's not working here. Just eating healthy oil is not gonna cut it. Like I'm eating an abundance of carbs and fats. It's a good idea to pick one or the other, you know what I mean? As I'd learnt from Bart K. And I thought straight away, because I was used to losing weight on high carb, low fat, that I'd just go for the fastest one that I knew would work for me. And I was losing weight, and I weighed myself on our friend Pete, his scales, and um, I'd gotten down on the vegan way of doing it, at least down to about 87 kilos, about 87 and a half. So it works, you know what I mean? You lose weight um, for reasons that Bart K also explains, which is the Randall cycle, which is basically it explains in at least in my understanding um, the competition between carbohydrates and fats, and how maybe there's an issue going on there with blood sugar and um, maybe weight gain and things like that, because your body goes into a bit of uh, catastrophe or whatever when there's those two macronutrients trying to get into your cells or whatever, for your cells to use that fuel, use that energy. And So there's something that can happen as far as, weight gain, or, cardiovascular health can go down, and just things like that. So I knew about that, but I just decided to go the way of the high carb, low fat, because previously I'd had a bit of issue with pain um, from being on like a carnivore type diet, low carb, excuse me, and a bit of pain. And I think you know what I'm talking about. Pain with, let's just call it elimination, okay? Pain eliminating, and and I thought, yeah, but back then I might have done it a bit quick, converted over to carnivore diet a little bit fast, which is what Bart K says is a bad idea. Do it under the supervision or understanding of someone else. And I still haven't done that, but what I do instead is I just eat some fiber source. I keep looking over there, like, but the lens is there, so so it looks like I'm looking somewhere else, but whatever. Um, and um, keep looking at keep looking at you. Okay. And so I eat like some fiber with the food I'm eating, but it's low carb. So I've gone from anywhere from cucumbers to carrots to zucchinis to tomatoes, as long as they're like low carb, so that it's in that diet. But anyway, I'll continue with what I was saying about the vegan diet. But then, like and that's under the, like, I was getting rid of the meat that I had in the fridge, and you know when I'm cutting down on meat, or if I'm not eating much meat, sometimes I get a weakness for empathy for the animals, so I start to get these vegan vibes again. And like it's something that attacks my mind. Like I start to think, oh, I don't want to buy any animal products anymore. Like, it happens to me like on repeated occasions. Like I'll go back and forth between eating meat and being vegan again. If you know me, if you've known me any longer than like say 6 months, you would probably know that by now. But or if you just watch my previous videos. Oh, okay. But I don't think the vegans are laughing or something. But sorry, guys. um, but anyway, what were we saying? Yeah, so things like it can be a bit challenging on a plant-based diet, a vegan diet. You know, things like indigestion, like heartburn. You've got to navigate a little bit with the foods that might work for you. Um, Things like what we call FODMAPs. So FODMAP is like an acronym that groups, maybe different sugars that tend to ferment in your body in a way that might um, irritate people in their bowels or in their digestion. It might make them bloated or burp or fart. So it's a bit hard to navigate a lot of those plant foods, fruits, vegetables, and some starches and things like that. So that's the tricky thing with sometimes eating plant based is on your digestion. It's my digestion isn't very happy unless I really be intentional about which plant foods I'm going to have, and that you can get used to that. You know what I mean? A little bit, but sometimes you want to eat pasta or you want to eat some foods that might interrupt your digestion because you like eating them. You know what I mean? But let's talk about, oh yeah, I was getting like ulcers in my mouth, so I decided, oh shit, um this is probably yeah, I don't know about this plant-based diet. I know I'm losing weight and it appeals to my sort of ethics, like animal ethics or whatever, um but actually I don't think it's a sustainable diet, because then I started to go to the shops and I went in to buy some supplements because I thought, okay, it's time to buy supplements. You're clearly going to be lacking some nutrients that animal products would give you, because this is an unnatural diet. But in our modern day and age, um, if you have a high empathy for the animals, you're gonna be able to get by as a vegan. So you can let your vegan fantasy come to reality. If we were in nature, it wouldn't be possible. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, I hate killing these animals, but then now you're being fed by modern farming, and you can go to the supermarket, so you can buy any plant food you want. But actually, is that really going to be? Are we? Is it that easy? To outsmart like our bodies. Our bodies might know better than that. And like, there's some wisdom, of course, in vegans, that they know that, okay, we've got to supplement more than the average population that eats animal products, but that's still no justification for eating animals just because we can't get those nutrients. We can supplement them. So I was getting things that, like, I was figuring that out. Like, I was figuring out, um, about, of course, B12. That's an obvious one. And then there's the types of omega 3s that actually the body tends to like in the form that it is. So, like DHA and EPA, the form of omega 3, that your body is a lot, it can assimilate a lot easier into its body, right? Into your body. Whereas the other type of omega 3, which might come in some plant foods like walnuts and things like that, um, it's going to take a few more steps for your body to uptake that and actually use it, and it's not very efficient. So um, there's a trade off. So I thought to myself, you know what? Like, yeah, like if I value my health, okay. Oh, and sorry. By the way, there's the supplement. There's like the algae supplement, but I wondered to myself, like, how effective are these supplements? But at the same time, I had those ulcers, so it was pissing me off a bit. Like, they were pretty bad, and I thought, oh, there's probably something wrong with my diet here. And then I stopped it, and I went back to eating meat again. Um, and go, no, fuck it. I'm gonna go to the butcher. I'm gonna go buy eggs, and I'm just gonna buy the low carb vegetables. I'm not gonna eat, like, I'm not gonna base my diet around plant foods for any sort of high amount of energy here. The energy is gonna come from meat and eggs and dairy and things like that. The most fucked up foods to a vegan. You know what I mean? But yeah. So it's whatever. But like, sometimes I go between, okay, I really value my health. So sometimes I go, okay, is that worth more to me than um, the feeling that I'm not contributing to the animal um, agriculture, the killing of the animals and animal agriculture. So I thought, maybe it means more to me, my health, than that. Yeah, and I thought, yeah, the other feeling I had to myself was, how can we possibly know what the fuck we're meant to supplement? Like, is it just B12 and omega 3? Like, what else is there here? And if I'm paying like $30 every couple of weeks for the algae supplement, um, I might as well just spend that money on actual food like meat and meat and eggs and stuff. But yeah, but some people say, "Oh, you're not a real vegan." But no, honestly, um, probably I'm not a real vegan, but I tend to have a weakness for falling into the vegan ideology. But it happened again recently to me, where I sort of went under the mind virus of the vegan mindset, and I was like, it had, I thought, yeah, this week I'm going to buy less meat, and I'm going to buy more pasta and things like that, and fruits. And then, like a day or so later, I thought, uh, you know, the this like the nourishment that comes um, from plant foods that I've got here, they don't compare to the nourishment that you get from the meat and the eggs, and maybe the good quality cheese and stuff like that. Um, so I thought, nah, like I value my nourishing my body more than um, the feeling good that I'm not contributing to the animals being killed. But then I tried to reframe that, and I thought, you know what? I'm grateful that these animals, I'm grateful for these animals um, being killed. I'm grateful that these animals are killed because um, without them, I would not be nourished in the best way that I know, or I wouldn't be nourished appropriately if it wasn't for them. So I'm grateful to those animals. Yeah, like because the human body is we like we're meat eaters, you know what I mean? And like it's it's a bit hard to say that we're not and that we eat plants, when we have to supplement certain things. So I thought to myself, like, am I really that confident? Like, is it worth not contributing to killing the animals for food? Or I'm not even killing the animals really. I'm just buying the products, right? Is it worth um, the feeling, the feel good feeling that you're not contributing to it? Um, if like, are you that confident that you're getting the nourishment you need? You know, and if you're not, then don't have the arrogance that you are. And like it's pretty ignorant as well if you're gonna say, oh, I'm getting like it's sort of a fantasy to try to make your vegan fantasy come true by saying oh, I'm gonna get nourished if I fill in the gaps with supplements like omega 3 supplements and B12 supplements. Yeah, and like watching Bart K, in some of his videos, uh, I know I'm not trying to appeal to authority, but he's involved in the science and he has advised that the B12 supplements that most people have may not even be healthy for you. And on the flip side, also with the omega 3 supplements, like the algae supplements, they're not healthy either. And even some vegan people say that they're not healthy either. Um, so so it's probably better to just eat the animal product that's designed for your body, that your body's designed to eat. You know, and who designed it? Well, that's another story. You know. All right, have a good one. That's a long chat, but yeah, I was meant to talk about how it's going for me, but I guess I told you part of it. And I've continued to lose weight from um, 87 kilos. Like as I said, my sort of comfortable weight is around early 80s, right? And So I still had a bit to lose while I was still vegan. Um, and doing the low carb, like mostly meat with little bit of fiber from fruit or something like that, or even like, oh, I meant mainly like the fruits, like, cucumbers, zucchinis, tomatoes, and carrot. That's not a fruit, but yeah, those types of fruit, low carb fruits. Um, at least for the short term now, they're good for fiber as my body's getting used to being like a carnivore. You know what I mean? Um, Yes. So, and I've continued to lose weight. I weighed myself at on Pete's scales, who I told you about. Yeah, hello, Pete. um, and it said around the 83 mark. Yeah. So that's it was 83 and a half. So I've continued to lose weight, and that's a pretty stable weight for me, I think. Yeah. So that's how I'm going with the being like on a low carb carnivore type diet. Yep. Okay. Have a good one. So let me know how you're going if you're on a carnivore type diet, and if you're a vegan and you're questioning if it's nourishing you and if it's all worth it. Being a vegan, then talk to me as well. Okay. I mean, write me a comment. Yeah. I'm not saying talk to me like walk up to me when I'm in the middle of the street or something. Yeah. But yeah. All right. See you later. Bye bye.